Streets Alive mission has been making a big difference here in our community for over 30 years. The amazing ministry helps many of our homeless in our community, including those with addictions. They feed them, clothe them, and help them get on their feet in a very big way. Joining me to talk about it is the co-founder of Streets Alive mission, Julie Kissick. Welcome back to Bridge City News, Julie.
Well, thank you, Hal. Good to be here.
So 30 years, 3 decades, does it feel like it?
Well, my hair says it's been 30 years, but it hasn't felt like 30 years at all for me. I look back at 30 years and it feels like just a short span of time because I love what I do. We absolutely love what we do. We feel called to do what we do. And so when you get up every morning and you love doing what you're doing, it does not feel like drudgery. It doesn't feel long.
You know, a few years ago, you took me on a tour of Streets Alive inside, and it really touched my heart in a big way. You showed me this mural with a lot of the clients on the mural. You knew the backstory. You know all about their lives. You remember their names, and most of those people had passed away. Mm-hmm. And I remember you had tears in your eyes as well at that moment.
Oh, some of those people became very important to us.
It's like family, right?
And they become like family because you do know them so well, and because you bury their children and you bury their parents and you bury all their aunties and uncles, and you hold them when they cry and you celebrate when they're having a good day, and they're just like our family.
Now, during the lockdown, Streets Alive did not close the doors but kept them open to help those who were desperately in need. How was that received in the community?
I think it was received really well. We were one of the few places that was open for them to come into, but one of the important things is that we trustee their money, and so nobody wants to separate anybody from the funds that they have, number one, and they still need clean clothes, and they still need a sandwich, and they still need a phone, and they still need to have that connection with people.
So what protocols, Julie, did you and Ken put in place at Streets Alive to protect yourselves, your volunteers, and your clients from COVID-19?
Well, here's the funny thing. We were told we had to use a lot of hand sanitizer, but they drink it. So
wow.
The first thing we did is
because the alcohol content, I guess, in there, right?
Sure. And now they come in Mickeys and 40s and stuff like that, so it's like very attractive. But we opened up a hand washing station, we opened a bathroom, took the toilet out, and just nobody could have any kind of a service unless they wash their hands. And of course, the staff is masked, and we offer masks to all of the clientele that come through the door. So if they want to access our service, they have to wash up their hands and wear a mask.
Now, one of the branches of your ministry is the new Segway Women's House. What is your real vision for this home?
How much time do you have?
Well, we've got another 10
another
minutes
47
or so.
seconds.
Yeah.
The vision that I have for this home is to have a place for women who have nowhere else to go. I was volunteering in the jail right up until COVID, and time after time women would be leaving my chapel service crying because they had nowhere to go except back to their old situation. And they come out of detox, they have nowhere to go but back to the old situation or treatment, back to the old situation. And I wanted to be able to offer them an alternative until they were healthy enough to maybe even face the old situation. And so it's imperative when we help people in recovery that they have a home. They have to have a roof. If you don't have a roof, you don't have the opportunity to recover. If you don't have a bed, if you don't have 3 squares, you have no opportunity to recover. So,
how do you get that message across to a lot of your clients that you have to change your surroundings, you have to change your bad habits, and even some of the people you hang out with, which is very difficult for a lot of people, especially if they've been on the streets with a lot of these other people they call friends, right?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge to help them get to that place where they're able to say goodbye, because we could force it, but we all know the law kills. Or we could talk to them, and through the programming and instruction and perspective change, they get to the place where they kind of go, hey, you're unhealthy and toxic for me, so I'm going to actually choose not to be with you. And when they get to that point, that's a powerful point in their life.
And don't you have some staff or volunteers that help out that maybe went through the program, that were homeless or addicted at one point in time?
Oh yeah, we're up to armpits in them.
Right?
Yeah, and now, like through COVID, we still continue to do our supportive housing, and the men and the women who were in the housing were just so grateful that they had a job to do while we went through that, and they became the big supporters of people that were coming to all the services. They were just like, hey, I made it, you can make it. I've done this for 6 months. You can do it for 6 days. And it's just been amazing.
Now, Streets Alive is a ministry very similar to what we have here at the Miracle Channel. How do you integrate God and Christ's saving grace into the discussion when it comes to helping people off the street?
Well, I think that we're fortunate in that people know we are a Christian mission. And so there's a certain expectation that Christianity is going to come out of our mouth. They have an expectation when I sit up beside them and I'm like, hey, can I pray for you? They expect that. And then they always say yes. And my prayer is always that God would touch their heart with his love so that they could have hope to change. Because love changes everything.
Let's talk a bit about Segway Women's Home once again. Now, an online housewarming for the home is taking place. What kind of a response have you gotten from the community on that?
Probably not as big as I had hoped. I think things have been kind of confusing with the registry that we picked. So now we're just going out there and saying, give us money or give us stuff. We need everything a home could need. It's going to be 20 beds, but it's got 8 bathrooms. It's got 3 laundry rooms. It has 2 kitchens, and it has 13 bedrooms.
Any nurseries as well? To
No
maybe
nurseries,
Okay,
no.
right.
That's the next step.
Okay,
Single
gotcha.
moms, that'll be our next step. Come on, Hal, give me a chance here. We haven't even got
How
to
about
this
beanbag
step.
chairs and lava lamps?
Beanbag
Would you
chairs,
accept those?
lava lamps all day long.
Oh, I love
Beanbag
that.
chairs, no.
Okay.
No.
When are you hoping to open?
Well, we're hoping to open December 1. But it's been a problem for the construction because COVID slowed down everything, including the ability to get materials, the ability to have enough people on site to get the work done. I just got notified this week that my furniture is delayed. So there's all kinds of delays that are happening. You want tile, it's delayed, flooring. Yeah. So December 1, in Jesus' name, December 1.
So a lot of people in the community making donations to help out. And
You know, through COVID, this community has been tremendous. What a tremendous community. They've just given, and I know that a lot of them are hurting. But we've got people come in with just a set of towels, or we got people come in with $25, buy what you need, and coffee pots, and sheets, and bedding, and all that other kind of stuff. So we have a really generous community. I'm pretty proud of our community.
so, Julie, what's needed right now?
Besides money,
Yeah, well, we could always use money, right?
yeah, we
But
can
I mean, how
always
about
use
clothing?
money.
Winter's just around the corner.
Hoodies. For Streets Alive, hoodies, we always need jeans. No matter how many times we get jeans, they disappear like that. When you think that we might serve 25 to 40 people per day, that's 25 to 40 pairs of pants, shirts, socks, underwear. So we're always out of underwear. We don't like secondhand underwear. We like fresh, clean underwear. Walmart has a great deal, just throw that out there. We always need hoodies so they can layer up. We always need jeans, usually men's 30 to 34.
Socks.
Socks all day long
Right.
because they get to change their socks every day. We can't change their shoes every day, but we can change their socks every day.
What about gloves and tubes and
Gloves,
scarves?
that's coming up,
right?
but
Yeah.
probably we're not giving them out yet because the weather's too warm still. But once the weather gets cold, yeah, I think last year we went through 6,000 or 7,000 pairs of gloves.
The government likes to keep tabs on numbers, like Stats Canada. 30 years, how many clients do you think you have served with Streets Alive?
A lot? I don't know. It's just a lot. It's been
How many
a
would you
lot.
average a day, through the programs?
But through the programs and the trusteeship, about
Yeah.
150 a day.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you're also developing an 8-plex home for men.
Yeah, excited.
What are some of the needs there?
Everything. We need everything there. We do have a fair amount of furniture because we've been collecting furniture with our warehouse. And so we let agencies have their first pick of everything, and then we have enough to probably be able to share a little bit into that 8-plex. But same thing, we don't have dishes, bath towels, tea towels, laundry soap, cushions, Chesterfields, chair, like everything. We need everything. And it's an 8-plex, and each plex has 2 bedrooms. So that's 16 bedrooms that we have to furnish. So 16 lava lamps, folks.
That's a lot of lava lamps.
That's a lot of lava lamps.
And beanbag chairs. I love
And
that.
beanbag chairs.
Julie, the supervised consumption site at Arches shut down after the province did its audit, the $1.6 million in funds that weren't accounted for, so the province shut it down. Now, the province instituted a mobile SES by the soup kitchen in Lethbridge here. Is the province doing enough to help a lot of those who are addicted? The
It's
intox and
not
detox beds?
it's not called an SCS anymore. It's called an opioid prevention site.
Right.
And so the SCS allowed all kinds of different drug use, whereas the OPS is intravenous drug use. So that's probably narrowed the field a little bit. I have an opinion regarding intravenous drug use. I pretty much keep it to myself because
This is the forum, come on.
I've seen too many dead people.
Okay.
I've seen too many people die from putting poison in their veins. But I understand the concept of it.
So how do you feel about people like Tim Slaney, used to work at Arches with the Lethbridge Overdose Prevention Society, putting up these pop-up tents at Galt Gardens, down by the Civic Center, the field?
I think that,
you know, they're unsanctioned.
I think that he should encourage the people to go to the proper OPS site, because they've got medical staff there, they've got social workers, they've got addiction workers, they've got everything set up there to help the person from point A to point B instead of just getting stuck at point A. So I think they're actually doing a disservice to the addicted population.
Let's talk about for a moment the importance of providing a safe place for people as they go through recovery. Tell me a bit about that, how important that is.
It is so important that it is safe, but also that it is structured. There has to be a purpose while they're living this that safe existence. So we do a lot of psychoeducational stuff, we do a lot of 12-step stuff, we do boundary work, we do all the work that is necessary for them to be able to find their own place of safety after they've been safe with us. So that's our goal, is like recovery is real, we've seen it, it works, and we know how to help people get to point B.
Julie, do you in Canada Streets Alive see a lot of transient people coming in from other towns or cities, or is it mostly local people here in southwestern Alberta?
Well, we saw, a year or so ago, we saw a fairly significant influx from other centers, and part of it was the SES.
Like other centers, meaning from Calgary?
Yeah,
or?
oh yeah, we saw lots of different people, because we would see they would come in for clothing. We'd be like, where are you from? What's your name? So we saw all these strange people we didn't know come into the building. And we've also seen lately that some of them have transitioned back, possibly to old stomping grounds or whatever, so.
Let's talk about some of the victories that you've seen as well, involving your clients. I mean, we mentioned some of them before who went on to become volunteers or work with you here at Streets Alive, but just some of those tremendous victories.
One or two of the victories that I think of right away is one lady who came to us out of detox, so she'd only been, detoxed for 7 days, and we put her in the house, and she stayed with us for 2 years. So the first year, she worked her way through all of our programming, and the second year, she started at the university taking her social working and addictions degree. And by the time she left, she was already a year into that degree, going strong, stable, able to function and do really well. I'm in contact with women who have exited the housing and are back working in their jobs. They've got their kids back working with their kids. So I hear from a lot of the people that have exited the program in a healthy and safe way. We do have some that exit in a not very healthy and safe way, but we do have a significant amount that still stay in touch, and they've gone on to live the lives that they had hoped they could have.
I've chatted with some members of the Lethbridge Police Department here, and they say a big issue right now when it comes to the drugs, it's not so much fentanyl, but it's methamphetamine.
Meth.
Are you seeing that as well?
Well, about 10 years ago, we saw a huge increase in meth. And back then, the people called it Methbridge. Like, I know it's just been coined within the last year or two, but we heard it 10 years ago, this is Methbridge. We saw people transition from pills and alcohol and stuff into meth. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, we watched them transition their meth to take it intravenously. So yeah, meth is the key drug in our city.
Now, you talked about opioids as well, do you have naloxone kits there too? Of course. You have to have lots of those on hand?
Yeah, on hand and with our outreach team.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, we've just contracted to have a special counselor come into Streets Alive to help them decompress from overdoses. And it was worse about a month ago, but still they have to be able to have somewhere where they can start to talk about somebody just coming back to life and taking a swing at them.
Wow. What kind of training do your volunteers have to go through in order to be able to handle a lot of what they're seeing?
I wish I could remember the term, but our operations director, he does a non-violent intervention course that he runs with our staff like every year or every 6 months, however he sees that needs to happen, so that we learn not to engage up close and personal, but how to de-escalate situations. So, but I'll say with meth, it's hard.
I can imagine.
They're just so amped up on the speed, and that sometimes they don't even hear your voice.
Wow.
So the best time for us to reach out to them is when they're starting to come down off the meth, and yeah.
So in your opinion, how can we curtail a lot of the drug use in our city and keep the drugs out of our city?
You know, we've had a lot of people say, how can we get drugs out of our city? Well, they tried prohibition with the alcohol, and we all know how that worked. Everything went underground. And I think that the drug use is with us until the end of time, because there are always going to be people who are hurt and looking for an anesthetic. And
they're trying to fill that void.
And they're trying
not
to
with
fill
God,
that.
but with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, they don't know how to go to God. They don't know how to accept His love and let that love work with them, because that's a slow process, and they want the fast process. They want the drug that's going to just take a hold of them, make them feel better instantly. So
Quick fix.
it is, and it's a powerful fix. Wow. So for people to just say, well, just stop using, it is just not that easy.
Julie Kissick, co-founder of Streets Alive Mission here in Lethbridge, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.